Okay, so this isn't a paid sponsor or anything, but these, fucking fantastic, bro. But hey, guess what? It's time for another long-winded vlog because I have the worst case of video maker's block ever and I can't come up with skits or anything funny. But this is a story of the worst time of my life, which coincidentally happened over the course of a single calendar month in 2011. And I'm making that video because this coming November is the 10-year anniversary of it. And considering 2 years later, in 2013, I was literally homeless for over a month, that really speaks volumes about how bad a time this was. So first, a shitload of backstory. In summer of 2011, I started dating a girl, my fourth girlfriend ever, and her and I really quickly fell head over heels for each other. Me for her, because unlike my last 3 incredibly toxic girlfriends before her, she was actually wanting to spend time with me and do stuff with me, like outside of sex. In fact, she was the only girlfriend I had before or since who knew how to cook. Usually I'm the one in the relationship that cooks. It was actually kind of a nice change of pace. And she fell for me because I was the only human being, friend, or family in her life that wasn't an irredeemable piece of shit. Which, according to a commenter on my incels video, because I like to drink and fucking party, I'm an irredeemable piece of human shit. Who knew? But anyway, when we started dating, she was already 5 months pregnant with a rape baby. And to know the story of that, you gotta rewind it another 5 months to when this dude, I think he was her drug dealer, because she was a fucking opioid addict. She was addicted to fucking, like, Oxy at the time. And he, like, dosed her with, like, fentanyl patches to the point where she passed out, and he fucking raped her raw, gave her fucking chlamydia, and got her pregnant. And this dude was actually known for doing this. He's still in the area, I believe. He's got to have like a dozen kids by now, because he rapes. That's what he does. Rapes and gives STDs. In fact, he actually did time in prison for fucking molesting several of his children before they were even old enough to, I think, even crawl. So yeah, fun guy, right? But anyway, after this incident, she stopped hanging out with him, got sober from pills, got treatment for her STI, and then started looking into options for abortion. Well, that brings in her mom and her mom's boyfriend, who were drug peddling pieces of shit themselves. I'm pretty sure to this day their house is still up on the hill in my town. They're probably still selling their fucking pain meds to probably underage kids. Well, her mom wanted a little baby around the house, even knowing that it was the result of a rape. She wanted a little pet human, right? So what does she do? She robs her daughter of all her money so she can't go get a fucking abortion. So fast forward to around the time when she started getting with me, she actually had an adoptive couple lined up, and guess what? Mama interfered again, came in and said, no, my daughter's a drug addict and the baby's gonna be born addicted to drugs, even though she was completely fucking several months sober at this point. You gotta do what you gotta do when you want that little pet human, right? Eventually she ended up just kicking her daughter out onto the streets, and she ended up living with me for a while, but she was still interfering and trying to fucking ward off any potential adoptive parents. So now in swoops an aunt from this girlfriend's dad's side. And the aunt says, hey, I'll pay for all your medical costs and I'll adopt the baby. You just gotta come to upstate New York and stay with me so your mother doesn't fucking interfere. So, you know, she agreed to do it because she was completely out of fucking options, and I agreed to go with her because, call me crazy, I stick by women I date. And this is where the shit show begins. We went to go stay in her aunt's boyfriend's trailer, which was this rundown, like, raggedy shit fucking trailer with the floor caving in. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was that there was nothing. I don't mean like no furniture, I mean like just nothing to do, nothing to keep anyone entertained. I couldn't afford a smartphone at this point anyway. I still had it was an LG Shine 2, if anybody remembers those. That was my fucking only phone I had. She didn't have a fucking phone. There was no internet. There was no TV. There wasn't even a landline phone. There was nothing. There was nothing. There was like the only fucking entertainment was this one radio that got one station and only one of the speakers in it fucking worked, and only this weird guy was allowed to use it. And the boyfriend, oh my fucking god. The boyfriend was this severely brain damaged dude. He was apparently very, very wealthy. He apparently had like fucking 700 grand in the bank. And he's living in a fucking rundown piece of shit fucking trailer. The guy was like sputtering and like drooly. And like he was all fucked up, but he held a job somehow. And he used to fall flat on his face trying to put his fucking boots on in the morning. I remember that. And this guy is actually the reason that I'm afraid to ride a motorcycle, because it was a motorcycle accident that made him the way he was. But it gets worse! Prior to actually going on this trip, I went over to these weird, scummy trailer park people's house, and I ended up getting scabies from just sitting on their fucking couch. And I didn't know I had fucking scabies until I'm on this trip. And again, you know, I got no money, I got no health insurance. Keep in mind, I couldn't even drive anywhere, because she had actually given us a ride up here. So I didn't even have a car. Oh, and I almost starved to death. Because this aunt would act like she was being like so super hospitable to us. The only food that she gave our fucking broke asses was, in the morning we would get a bagel, but not even a regular bagel, one of those like thin bagels. And in the evening she would cook dinner. And her dinner was just watery bullshit. Sometimes she made chicken in water. Sometimes she made noodles in water. Sometimes she made cabbage in water. It was always just some just random generic food in a, I'm not shitting you, and not watery sauce, a bowl of fucking warm water. So a bowl of watery mess and a thin bagel. It's all I got to eat every day. And I have a high metabolism. And I ended up going from like, I was like 156 pounds, and I went down to 118. So I literally lost 35 fucking pounds. So let's recap. We're in a shitty trailer. There's no entertainment whatsoever. We're starving the fuck to death. I have fucking scabies. And there was no phone service. So I couldn't even call anybody to fucking rant about the conditions. I used to have to walk through this neighborhood that was like desolate. Like no one was ever around. It was so weird. I used to have to walk through this neighborhood a fucking quarter mile up to this bar. And that's the only way that I would get a bar on my fucking phone. And all I would do was call my dad and be like, I'm in hell. I'm in fucking hell. Oh, and the bar that I talked about, I couldn't even drink at it because I wasn't turning 21 until the end of the fucking month. So one thing led to another, and my girl ended up having her baby. And then the aunt tries to do something weird. She tries to get me to sign the birth certificate as the father. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And she didn't push after that. The fuck? A piece of my ceiling just fell down. She then made my girlfriend go to the local Walmart and walk around and do shopping for her within hours. This was like 4 hours after giving birth to a fucking baby, right? And she wouldn't even give us a ride back to Pennsylvania. My dad had to come and pick us up for a 7.5 hour fucking drive. I had never been happier in my life to be turning up at my parents' house. I ate like a goddamn pig for like the next 6 months. And thankfully got rid of my scabies. And then the aunt, despite saying that, you know, she was going to take care of everything, then she tries to go after my girlfriend for child support. Two-faced, shady fuck. She was this weird bitch. She was part of like this conspiracy group about how like wind turbines like cause pollution or some shit. Like just crazy. So yeah. So the TLDL of the story is I spent all of November 2011 in a rundown trailer with no TV and no phone and no internet in the middle of bumfuck Egypt, New York, too young to drink and no car and fucking scabies, sitting in silence every day and literally starving to near death. And I have not been back to upstate New York since, and I don't fucking plan on it. I'm surprised I don't have PTSD from that shit.